Man, I was on the internet the other day reading an article, and they talked about how black women get married at a much lower rate than women of other ethnicities. And you know, in the article, you know, it was true. Everything, a lot of the stuff that it was saying in there was true. It pointed to a lot of facts, and it used a lot of statistics and everything. But one thing I didn't like is when they talked about the reasons for it.
They started shitting on black men.
Exactly. Everything was the man's fault. I mean, I agree that there's some brothers out here that's foul, and there's a lot of stuff that sometimes we can do a little different, but it's not always the man's fault. I mean, I think sometimes when we talk about the marriage rates and single mothers and stuff like that, sometimes you got to kind of look within and figure out, you know, maybe what's wrong with you? What are you doing wrong? I mean, the rate isn't, it's not like a zero.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's just like no accountability. Like they slam the dudes, but they never mention the fact that women don't really recognize a good dude. And I've had clients tell me that a black dude in corporate America is too geeky, then they date a white guy and he's perfectly fine. It can't be, how am I a geek because I'm black doing the same shit that the white dude is doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing is this too, poor decision making that has long lines of poor decision making. Yeah. Mama made a poor decision, great grandma made a poor decision, and man, and this just continues to trickle down and trickle down, and these women keep making these poor decisions. You know this dude is an ex-con when you met him.
Right.
You know he's a three-strike man anyway. It ain't baseball.
Four kids, 4 baby daddies.
4 baby daddies.
4 bad decisions.
No job. He's not a provider.
Right.
But you like this swag anyway. I mean, you like this clothes anyway.
Sometimes I think a lot of women will keep dating the same guy over and over again, and they did him wrong in the first place.
And sometimes I think it's about validating your opinion in the first place. Some people care more about proving themselves right than actually being happy.
Say it again?
Some people care more about proving themselves right than actually being happy. I can say all women ain't shit, and then I could go down the way and find me a woman that ain't shit and be like, see? That's what I'm talking about.
I told you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I keep searching the same water hole and expecting a different result, then I mean, you got to actually expand your horizons if you want to see an actual change.
You can't expect to keep going to the bar and
keep
picking up the same guy.
The same bar.
It's the same guy. It don't matter what bar it is.
Right.
That guy's in every bar.
Especially if your complaint is that niggas all alcoholics.
Right. That's a problem.
Because you met a nigga at Tuesday night at the bar and he had alcohol.
You know, I met this one chick and I asked her something like that. And when she told, and this lady lightweight, she lightweight had her head on her shoulders somewhat until you got to that aspect. And I asked her, I said, well, why do you pick the loser? And you know what she told me the reason she picks the loser? She told me the reason she picks the loser is because the loser is not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's really
that makes sense. That happens on both sides. Sometimes women do things for the sake of having a man. Just to say I have a man. He might be a piece of shit man, but at least I have a man. That makes it convenient and it makes it easy for you not to take a look in the mirror. For you not to step your game up, because I know no matter what I do, he ain't going nowhere.
Versus if she had a better type dude in a better type of situation, she would have to govern herself. Because this dude would be a flight risk. Oh, shit, this dude got a job. He get up every day.
Right.
He got only a few kids. He might leave my ass. I gotta clean up.
He can get up and go.
I gotta cook shit.
Right. But then in the same token, you're not going to respect him as a man because of those things that he's lacking.
You have to get to validate the media's opinion of black dudes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And a lot of women, they don't want to actually lose anything of value. I had an ex-girlfriend actually tell me that when we got together, I was treating her good to the point where she felt like she didn't want to put too much feelings in me because if I ever left her, it would really hurt her.
Too good to be true. Too good to be true.
And so by the time I was done, she was actually all the way ready to go.
Too late now.
Exactly. When you're done, you're done.
It's too late now.
Definitely.
Speaking on what you say, like that, always having a man, some women just don't want to be alone. That's a problem. You just can't settle just to be alone, just to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to be alone. I want somebody in the bed with me. I want somebody to talk to.
Definitely.
I mean, I'd just rather be lonely.
Definitely.
I mean,
I think it's a common thread in what both of y'all just said. Is not having to step your own game up. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to say you don't have a man. You know, you're saying somebody is too good and all that. When you finally do get a guy and he's a good guy, it sounds like one of the biggest problems is a lack of belief in themselves.
And
they don't believe that they deserve this good guy, and they don't believe that if they let this guy go, even if he's a piece of shit, that they're gonna find another guy that was even another piece of shit.
So basically, what you're saying is sort of what I think too. They find, even if they found this good guy, they bound to sabotage it.
Yes,
definitely.
They're going to
that's what they used to.
And a lot of sabotage is a lack of self-confidence and a lack of feeling like you deserve
that belief. It's that belief you're talking about.
Definitely.
But even deeper, it's about recognizing potential. A lot of
that also.
I had a friend tell me how he was on the elevator one day, and he held the door open for this another dude about his age who had some rims that he was rolling on the elevator. And now he knew this dude. He knew this dude lived with his mom. He put all his money into getting some damn rims. He was actually in college, working full time, on the way to being something. A couple more floors down, 2 more girls got in the elevator. Before they get to the bottom floor, they talking to the dude with the rims saying, "Can I ride with you?" So
can I ride
you got your educated dude in here, and he gets no look because you got a nigga on the elevator with rims,
right?
You know, you know. So it's about being able to recognize potential too, and that people never really talk about that.
And to go along with that, that just goes to show you too, the value system on some of these women are skewed, because instead of placing value on the potential on this gentleman that was in the elevator who may become a 6-figure man by him being electrical or robotic or engineer, they put the value on something that would depreciate as soon as you put it on.
I mean, skewed is a good word, but I would say it's fucked up.
They go by what they see.
Right, it's fucked up.
Like, you know, they go by what they see. They see rims and they think he got a nice car and he got a lot of money and they don't know what he got.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one thing bothers about black women is that strong black woman statement. I don't like the statement. Personally. Because they think strong means being disrespectful to their man and being loud. And that's that's not being strong.
And one thing you just said, they confuse independence with being strong. Damn. They confuse independence with being strong. It's a good thing. A man wants a strong woman. Yeah. But a man don't want, I'm an independent, I don't need you.
Exactly.
No man wants a woman that just completely does not need him.
And here's the deal. If you don't want a man, you really don't want a man. You know what I'm saying? But if you want a man, then act like you fucking want a man. You don't have to act like you don't want to do when you want to do. If you at home holding yourself and watching sad movies and shit and upset because you're single, then you can leave the house and act as if you want to be with somebody instead of talking about how you don't need to do it.
You know, I wish somebody, in all fairness, was here to break down to me what the definition of strong black woman is.
Because I think you get a million different answers.
Because there's a lot of women who want to wear this cloak that don't deserve to.
Definitely. I mean,
take it off. Take the cloak off. You can't wear this.
It's disrobable.
Definitely. And I think when he just said, I think that I don't need a man or I don't want a man is overused.
Yeah.
Because especially before I got married, when I was dating, I met a lot of females that would say I don't need a man or I don't want a man, but as we talked a little bit more and she realized I wasn't like the dude you just finished dating, I realized you want a man very badly.
Yeah.
You don't want him, but you want a man. You want a good man.
She should have basically said, I'm just playing.
Right. I was lying. Look, what I said before,
I like you.
I was bullshit.
It's also about not wanting to be vulnerable.
I agree.
I had a woman tell me that she never cried in front of, never apologized to a dude. You understand? I'm like, so you never done nothing wrong in a relationship? She's like, oh yeah, I done something wrong. She's like, I just can't see myself apologizing to no dude. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay.
Who you gonna apologize to?
Have you ever apologized to your girls all the time? Have you ever cried in front of a dude? Oh no. Have you ever cried in front of your girls? Yeah, we cried. Okay, so you want to be hard. You want to be. You want to be hard.
Right.
Dudes don't want no hard ass female.
Right. I mean, that's the problem. Sometimes. You did that?
Yeah. I think y'all took that for the
Sometimes the problem in the relationship is that the female wants to be the male, or she wants to take on that male role, that traditional male role. I think sometimes women want a traditional relationship. Traditional relationship. I mean, like you when you think about maybe your grandparents or something like that, where the woman did maybe stay at home and clean or cook or take care of kids or whatever. And she might have worked, but she was still a homemaker. A lot of modern day females don't want to be Susie homemaker, but they don't want to
be responsible for the overall of the house either.
Right? Or they like some aspects of Susie. So they want to itemize some of the things that Susie had.
Right.
Like, I want you to do this and I want you to do that, but I don't want to clean, I don't want to cook, I don't want to go walking with the children.
But you take out the garbage and you do this.
Yeah, it's old school, new school. You old school when you want the man to take you out and spend the money on a date, but you new school because you want to be able to make your own money. You just don't want to spend none on him.
Right. You don't want to spend you don't want to supply. You don't want to do the date.
Yeah, but then you don't want to cook for him.
But you don't want to cook for him. And I don't want to spend my money on your date. Women don't want to spend their own money.
And you ask him to go out.
Yeah. They don't want to spend their own money. I want to keep my money, spend your money. Take me out. That's it. Take me out.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think that a lot of times women don't realize or sit down and realize what would make a real man happy or attracted to them. You know? Yeah,
that's very true.
They think about what the typical, I want some ass type of guy wants, and it's not the same thing that every other guy wants. I mean, he might want some ass too. I think even some of the more professional women emulate the wrong thing, or they think that they've risen to a rank that's above.
Yeah, like being a homemaker is beneath them.
Definitely.
That's the most
being
important
submissive
job.
is beneath them.
Yes.
And that's one thing. I think that's a word that a lot of women get messed up. There's nothing wrong with being submissive. That doesn't make you weak.
And I get it if your dude ain't got no sense.
Definitely.
You know my saying, if you ain't reading, you ain't leading. And that's real. But if you got a guy who has a direction for you and he can explain how it makes sense and it's a logical path to go, you need to go ahead and support him through that road.
He definitely has to be worth following. Exactly. Don't just follow an idiot.
Some random,
And you know what's funny about the submissive thing is
just hearing it pisses a lot of work.
That work.
And they go to church, they're supposed to be religious. That's the problem.
Definitely.
So you're reading the Bible and it says this is how you're supposed to be in the Bible, and you still refuse to do it. You can't do both.
That word strikes a nerve with a lot of people. It's like submissive. I ain't submitting to nobody. It's like, no, that's not what it means.
It don't mean you in chains in the basement. That's not. That's not what it means.
I'm a strong black woman.
And I think what it boils down to is in a relationship, and this is regardless of and I'm not just going to say it's the females that do that, it's the guys also, but we'll talk about the guys when we get to the guys video next week.
The loser portion.
But, that lack of friendship and even caring about each other. The way it normally goes, and I'm sure all of y'all can attest to this because you've been through it and done it and could write a book about it, but you meet a female or she meets a guy. Y'all hook up, y'all there's something about each other that attracts you, whether it's physically, mentally, or both. Usually it's both. Damn, okay, she might be, or he might be the husband potentially.
This might be the one.
So y'all kick it, y'all go out, you like him, she likes him, and, everything works out. But soon as they get together, or a little while after they get together, all that friendship shit goes out of the window. Yeah. It's no longer a friendship, it's no longer a partnership. Now it's just we together.
Yeah.
I don't like this about you.
Right.
We're not gonna talk about it. We don't care about each other's happiness anymore.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's so beautiful because you brought her flowers, or she did. She came over and she cleaned up the dishes that your filthy ass left in the sink.
Apartment, right?
She cleaned my apartment.
God damn.
Right.
I love this girl
Because she cared about that look on your face when you saw. Damn, you know what? That's what's up. That's wifey. She cleaned up the house. Oh shit, I'm gonna tell the fellas about it and all that. But at a certain point, it tapers off. She don't care about that look on his face.
The question is, was it about the look or was it about a goal of getting to a certain place with him?
It depends.
You know
it depends. That's real.
trying to get that ring, trying to walk down that aisle.
That's real.
That's very real because, you know, women gotta listen to what a guy says. If a guy says, when he meets a girl and she say, well, I got male and female friends. If he says, you can't have a female friend and he just want to get some ass, he's basically letting you know that he doesn't see value to women beyond sex. Mm-hmm. He can't fathom the idea of a man being cool with a woman based on who she is at all. Mm-hmm. So he should know from the very beginning.
If he has a problem with you having male friends,
that he doesn't believe that it's possible for a man to want to be in a female's company if he's not getting no ass from her.
That's
you know what I mean? And there's a lot of that, but they practice that ideology.
That's the insecure pimping ideology.
Insecure pimping. Yeah.
I remember we was over at a friend of mine's house, and the guy was over there, and he was over there. He had his girlfriend or fiance, whatever they were at the time. They're married now, actually. But you know, she had known all the fellas, the crew, for a while. They come in the house. My guy gives her a hug. Hey, how you doing? Hey man, don't hug my girl. I was like,
block it, huh?
Hold on, man. He was saying hello. It wasn't like he held her and exhaled her. Right. He didn't exhale when he held her.
Soft.
Right. He just said hello. Mm-hmm. You know, but I mean, I definitely agree. That shows that you don't believe that that's possible. You don't value that relationship.
Yeah. I remember I was debating with a dude because I got female friends. One of my college roommates was saying how he just can't fathom it. So I was telling him, some of the stuff we talk about and some of the things, we kicking and blah blah blah. And every time I finished, he was like, "But you still fucking right." So this dude obviously doesn't see that a woman can be more than a piece of ass.
Y'all finished talking, y'all fuck, right?
Yeah, so I mean, there you go.
How many of y'all been down south?
I just came back from down south.
So you know the interaction, the difference between down south women and Midwest women? Yeah. You ever noticed that?
Absolutely. Sure.
Why do Midwest women think they entitled? But damn, I went down south. I went to Atlanta one time and it freaked me out that women would speak to you.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
You up here? Up here, you say something to somebody?
Like, damn, niggas, leave me alone.
Right. They just walk off like you ain't there. I was just speaking. We made eye contact, sorry.
You know what? The thing is, I personally feel that down south, the ratio is so big between available men and available women that the women have to humble themselves and say, look, if I'm going to get a dude, I'm going to have to act better. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to treat them better. Up here, it's pretty damn close. You know what I mean? And so, if you got a couple dudes playing out here, then every woman feel like she got a dude. He might not be worth nothing, but he got somebody.
I mean, but
I got that on the west side too, though, man. I remember I tried to dance with a girl at the club on the west side, and she was like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. My boyfriend's here, and we're together. He's in the bathroom." I'm like, "Oh shit, in Cleveland they just like, nigga, but." She gave me this full story. It was the best rejection I've had.
That made me feel good, all right.
I used to live down south. I used to live in Texas, and then I used to live in North Carolina too. Something I found out when I was living in down south, a difference. One of them was this: down south, it's a lot more family orientation in everything. Family is involved in everything. Family is involved with your dates. So you go over to somebody's house down south, I gotta meet your mama, your sister, your friend girl,
everybody in the living room waiting.
Everybody. So that just goes to show you that not necessarily, but my point of view that you're dating the whole family. Or up here, you're not dating the whole family. You meet this girl, y'all love, y'all do whatever, and it's over. Mm-hmm. So everything is held to a higher standard down there in the relationship. Is what I noticed in the South.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, I think in general, people don't value relationships as much. I think people expect us because if you're a female and you got a crew, you got your homegirls, y'all been cool since back in the day, whatever. If everybody is a single mother, or they're just single period, or even if they're successful, it's a whole crew. That's what you see. You start to devalue that relationship. I would even say, or even vice versa. Right. But the guy that broke up with her wasn't shit
in the first place. The
5 months y'all was kicking it before y'all decided to stop using condom.
And you got to break up though. That's the thing too. Most of them weren't together. A lot of people weren't even together when they got pregnant.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You can't break up if you were never in a relationship.
If he called you at 4 o'clock in the morning, after he left the club with Trail and them,
or whispering,
right? What's up? What you doing?
Hold on.
Right. If he never called you when he was sober, you're not gonna raise a family together forever. It's just not gonna happen. You can try, but the chances of that working—that's a miracle.
You were a booty
call. What you got on? What you think gonna happen?
It was a tragic booty call. That's what that was.
It was a booty call going wrong. When booty calls go wrong. They need to make a TV show.
When booty calls go wrong.
Right.
They do got it. It's called Murray.
You know? Right. But that goes to the accountability thing with Boris.
Definitely.
You got 10 dudes on the couch for one woman.
Marisol.
Every dude gets booed and the woman never gets booed. You on the couch calling her a hoe and saying that she slept with everybody, and they boo you for saying that when she got 10 dudes on the couch.
A woman could take me on Maury. I could come out and say, Maury.
In 1 month.
Maury, I've never met her before.
Boo.
And they'd be like, boo, fuck you. I'd be like, I don't know her.
I'm sorry.
And then they'd be like, you are not the father. And I'd be sitting here like,
still get booed.
Get your fuck ass out of here.
Tar and feather him.
Yeah, that's 10 dudes on the couch. That's 1 month. Let's think about that's 1
Y'all
month.
see the chick Marisol in there? She had all the babies.
It was like 20 people.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She was a slut butt.
She got it in. It's a different dude for every day of the month.
Yeah. It happens. I think that value all around, excuse me, for relationships just ain't there. Yeah. I think sometimes a lot of women just don't respect
know which
men.
one y'all didn't put in.
I know I put it in.
I think I put it in first. I think it was you two. I think a lot of women just don't respect men no more.
Yeah, they don't.
I think if their father wasn't respectable, their mother constantly said, you know what, your daddy ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit, this dude I'm dating right now ain't shit. And if they constantly grew up, it's kind of hard for them to
be the first dude that you respect.
Right, and have a healthy relationship, whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think I know I've dated a few women that were just unstable. And even sometimes in my immaturity, just being young, I didn't understand why. Now I would completely understand why, because she never seen a stable relationship. So how can you expect her to maintain one?
Product of your environment. That's what they see. That's what they believe.
Definitely.
They might believe it's possible. That's why you need to go maybe hang out with people that have successful relationships, and then you will know what the successful relationship
role
is
model.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't hang around you and all your girls talking about men ain't shit.
And you gotta know when to drop people. You know what I mean? Like, you can outgrow people, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If
happens all the time.
If you got nothing else to talk about with your people, then you can kick it with them and all that. But if they start trying to actively get you away from something positive, then they're gonna have to go, or they're gonna have to change.
And then how can you listen to a single woman? If you in a relationship and you got questions in your relationship as a woman, how can you listen to a woman that has a track record of being single all the time in a failed relationship?
Definitely. And I think if you are a mature, rational adult, you know the difference between somebody that just has a track record of bullshit and hooking up with the wrong guy and going, I can't hang out with you this week. I got to get on the bus and go see so-and-so in jail and, you know, all of that from a woman that's just not going to settle for some bullshit. I mean, there's some women that's single just because they genuinely just have not met the right guy yet.
That's right.
And you know the difference between her giving you advice, but that's the same woman that'll say, you know what, I had a good man and I fucked it up or something like that.
And she can admit it.
Exactly.
I fucked up.
She can admit where she's messed up. Rather than some man basher that destroyed her last 5 relationships, and now you listen to her tell you why your good man ain't good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a smoke fire.
And I don't know who ties into this. A little while ago, it was a big story. Do y'all remember when Chad Ochocinco was with that girl, Ellen?
She had a kid with one of the Dodgers.
Okay. What do y'all feel about that situation?
I think she's a toxic person. If you ever, the Art of Seduction, what was that the Siren?
Oh, the real sexy one that lures you in.
Right, they talked about different personality types. And this is something we're definitely going to expand on when we talk about the guys video, because that's one thing that messes guys up.
Yeah.
But she's a siren. Sexy type of lady, knows how to do the right things and all of that. And she brought, he hasn't been the same.
And if you look at her, she has a pattern. She keeps going to this certain type of entertainer dude. And then in the end of it, she destroys them.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the whole story of the siren. The siren was in, what is that, the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
And the Odysseus, was it?
Okay.
I think it was Odysseus. You know, they would sing on this island and lure the ships to the water where they would crash and sink. You know, so Odysseus poisoned his men and put them to sleep, and then he tied himself up so that he could hear the song, but not steer his ship to the you know, to disaster basically. So sirens are all about, you know, luring you into disaster whether you know it or not. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think a lot of women are that, and you know, they don't.
Yeah, guys don't know how to recognize that shit.
No, I don't know how people continuously fall for that. If she's doing that, just going around doing that.
She's beautiful, and she constantly gets rich.
That's not enough. Well, it shouldn't be enough for you.
But it is, and a lot of dudes get tripped up. That's not the topic, but a lot of dudes keep talking about that.
I mean, but even the same way around, there's some guys that have personalities that are, you know, will dominate a conversation or take over a room and stuff like that. And even a female, she might recognize that early on and not heed the warning signs, but, oh, he's so cool. He can dress. Even though he might be spending every dollar he has to look nice, you know, she's going to take that as he's really that guy. I mean, think about when you was in high school. It goes back to high school, junior high school. Whoever had the best clothes had the chicks. I mean, there's a lot of women that don't outgrow that. They might be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. Whoever looks the nicest, whoever looks the flashiest, whoever got on a little bit of jewelry or whatever, they messing with him.
So you think that got something to do with
goldfish philosophy,
hip hop, or even TV, but hip hop? They watching these videos all day. Look at him. Oh, look at all. And even though they ain't even their cars in the video, but they see all this stuff, and that's what they want to go get.
It's a lifestyle that's being sold. Regardless if it's through music, TV, all of that. Like, you can blame a certain genre, you can blame hip hop, but hip hop is selling that same.
I'm hard pressed to find a black man straight, faithful, and successful on television at all. You know what I mean? Especially more successful than his woman. You know, he might be her underling, but he's just not on top. You know what I mean? And so that instantly creates, especially when you're in a household where you don't have a family dynamic. You just have a mom, or you just have a dad, or you just got your grandmother. If you see men constantly being under you, that's what you look for.
Black females are typically, historically, whatever other you want to say,
the happiest people in the country.
Right. And a lot of, one thing I've heard, I'm sure at least 2 of the 3 of y'all, not all 3 of y'all have heard it before. I want to lose weight because I'm going to lose my ass.
I was going to say that.
Come on.
I ain't going to be thick no more.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
We ain't have to in the gym.
And you got a stomach that's hanging out past your belt buckle.
Right.
We ain't have
Ain't
people
got
in the
nothing to do with
gym.
your ass.
I heard people in the gym say, the girl told me she didn't want to lose too much weight because her man didn't want her to lose.
Yeah,
her.
and
That's a problem.
But you know what? That does happen. It happens a lot. But here's the deal. You know, I've been training for years, right? And those dudes don't have a problem with their women working out until they lose weight.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
They are cool with all of them being around cut up dudes and all of that, but as soon as they lose some weight, all of a sudden it's a problem.
They think they're gonna lose them.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and so you gotta recognize, okay, this dude don't really
Care about me.
He with me because he thinks that I have low self-esteem.
Fuck the whole health benefits and all of that of being healthy. I don't want her to lose weight because I don't want him to look at her.
Then she's gonna be wanting to be with him.
I'm signing up thousands of females in Cleveland, and I will say that the average weight goal is 180 pounds for black women.
It's crazy.
180 pounds. I had to almost argue with a woman who was 4'11" because she told me that if she got below 175, she'd be a beanpole. You want me to look like one of these anorexic bitches. And it's like, really? You're 4'11"?
Definitely.
And you telling me that you don't need to be under 175?
That's almost my ideal weight. My ideal weight is 190.
Mine is 185.
My wife's ideal weight shouldn't be 10 pounds less than mine. I want to pick her up and carry her over the threshold and all that.
Exactly. But
we can't wait the same
femininity is
amount.
gone.
You can't be bigger than me.
That's just not, no.
Yeah, but
That's not anything positive.
I'm not caring about femininity anymore. I remember I asked a group of women, like, don't you care about being smarter than your guy? Nobody said yes. They all looked around and they said no, or they said I never thought about it. You know what I mean? So femininity in itself is just gone. Men like dainty.
Because that's acceptable in this demographic. Because whenever you go to some of these warmer regions, like we mentioned earlier, you don't see that.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't see two tunders and booger bears walking around squeezing inside of bathing suits and stuff like that.
They fight their hardest to look good in that bathing suit.
Right.
I'm not gonna eat today.
Any of y'all ever been like the Carabana? Like, you ever notice, like, you go up there and, like, you see all the American chicks just, like, off to the side, nobody's paying attention, and you see all these exotic island chicks that you like, what the hell is she mixing? Oh, my gosh. So, but you look at them and their health matters to them. And I noticed something else, too, about these foreign countries. The food is fucking nasty, so they don't eat that much up there, so they got better bodies. Yeah, the food too damn good.
Our shit good! This food is good!
That's by design. Yeah, that's by design, though.
Shit, if I lived in Mexico, I'd be skinny as fuck. This shit was nasty.
Yeah, Mexico, they get down.
The Mexican food was good. The traditional Mexican food was good, but the American flamey ass burgers and shit that they was trying to duplicate of America was nasty. Man, all I was eating was fruits and berries and shit. Now that's like this shit nasty.
Coming to America.
Right. Ain't got no choice but to be up here. So the solution is send all the fat girls to Mexico.
Different kind of deportation. You're rounding y'all up. Let's go.
First deportation. Right. Definitely. But yeah, I mean, I think another huge problem, not to say huge because we just talking about that. another issue is that women share too much of their business, and that goes back to what we were talking about before. You end up with your friends that's trying to sabotage your relationship. Like, I'll tell you, any woman that's even watching this video that will say my friends would never sabotage my relationship. I tell you what, get engaged and plan a wedding. My wife is a wedding planner, and they've been exposed to it a little bit. The last 3 weddings, and not even just weddings that she's planned, but the last 3 weddings that I can remember, the bride has fell out with one of her closest friends, over the wedding. Over something small. She might tell her, I might say, hey, I need you to go get fitted for your tux. And you'd be like, don't be telling me
me what to do.
Right. I'm not his friend anymore. Right. It's the same thing with them. Yeah. A lot of times, you know, like they say, misery loves company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if a lot of times, if a toxic woman sees somebody else happy, she's going to distance herself from it. She's going to try to make sure she destroys it at all costs. And if that's the person that you get your relationship advice from, you're never even going to get to the wedding to fall out because she's going to make sure that you're down there with her. Mm-hmm. It's never going to happen.
But you know what? A lot of women, they treat their friendships like relationships and their relationships like friendships. Mm-hmm. You know, I got this woman who will text each other, and if they don't get a text back instantly, they're mad, like, why didn't you get back to me? Mm-hmm. That's some shit you say to your man, not your friend, as a woman. You know what I mean? But with guys, they call and hook up randomly on the spot. Definitely. That's some shit I do with y'all. You know what I mean? What you got going on?
But see, that's why when once one of them gets a man, sometimes the other one is ready to break up with them because now you got somebody. Now you got somebody. You
cheating on me, then.
Right? You can't spend all your time with me drinking margaritas or something, talking about why we can't find a man. Right? Because you found one, you fucked it up. Right. We're supposed to do this forever. We're supposed to
messed up our friendship.
Branch and roll.
You broke the code.
Definitely.
Mess this up.
That's a humongous issue. And if you keep taking advice from that person that doesn't mean you well, I mean they don't want you to die or anything like that. She genuinely loves her. Yeah. As long as she's single. Right.
Or with some trashy
ass. Right. Somebody they can talk about.
Or need me to come cry.
Or you're unhappy like I.
Yeah. And that's something for the video next week with the guys. Women have to look at their circle and realize if everybody in your circle is single or in dysfunctional relationships, then chances are you got a fucked up circle. Definitely. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hang with people and not be those people. If you can't find any friends who can find dudes worth a damn, then you ain't gonna find a dude worth a damn. I mean, it just can't happen. You know, it's a birds of a feather rule.
A lot of times with females in relationships, especially now, it's just that I don't need a man thing. Yeah. I don't need a man. I don't need a man to complete me. I don't need a man to do this. I don't need a man to do that. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, on a lot of levels, you don't need a man. But it helps.
But you should want a man. Whether you need a man or not, if you have a son, he needs a man.
When you get to that,
if you got a daughter, she needs a man. So it ain't about you no more.
Definitely.
But put somebody in that kid's life who can steer them in the direction where they're going to be happy.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And so it's bigger than about what I need and what I want and all that other stuff. You know, that's one of the problems with the black community in general, is we are all about our own personal interests.
Definitely.
I've known women who marry guys who don't even talk to their kids. Like, I've had women ask me to train their sons, you got to stay with them until they graduate because my husband doesn't talk to them.
Definitely.
He don't deal with them. I'm like, so you knew this shit before you married him. Why did you marry him, man?
Right.
You don't deal with your kids.
Right, and why did you stay with them?
Exactly.
Even after.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was actually reading an article earlier. It was something somebody like reposted or shared on Facebook talking about 25 things a father should know if he has a daughter or something like that. And they talked about all of this, all of the things, all of the positive self-image characteristics that she can learn from her father and this and that and the third. And I mean, it just shows you one parent can't do it all. There's certain things that a woman can learn, or a girl can learn from her father that she can't learn from her mother. Same thing, especially the same thing, a single mother with a little boy. You know, there's certain things he's going to have to learn from a man at some point. If he learns those things from a woman, he might not learn them correctly. She might have did the best she could. She might have been a hell of a good of a mother, if that means something for real.
Yeah.
But there's certain things she can't teach her.
Right.
Yeah. You can't.
You don't know what it
she
is.
just don't know.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, she just don't know. Right.
Right. She just don't know.
It ain't her fault. She just don't know.
Right.
Especially a lot of them haven't seen a man in any way, a real one. So
right, you've never even seen a real man before. How you gonna teach him how to be a real man? You know? And that's why we end up with a lot of guys with bitch ass tendencies.
Yeah, and a lot of women end up raising the dudes.
That's why bitch assness is running rampant.
Yes, and they end up raising the guys that they can't stand. Your son is a nigga that you can't stand.
Where my chips at?
Following your lead.
You never put in.
That's
for you, Steph.
I'm appalled. See what? I'm leaving my chip out.
But that being individual in the relationship was by design. It's my thought.
Welfare. Absolutely.
Welfare, child support, all that is by design to make sure they keep black families separated. All by design.
I think it's a convenient crutch sometimes to be able to say with child support that that's all you need the man for and stuff like that.
That's all they act like they need it for. First, as soon as you say something wrong, they run it. I'm taking your ass to child support.
Here's
like, what the hell happened?
By the time a woman has 2 or 3 kids by a couple guys and she's deeper than the system, it makes more sense financially for her to find dudes who will not stick around.
To remain single.
I mean, think about it. You have daycare vouchers for both these kids. You got heat. You know what I'm saying? You got food
Section 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? Section 8.
The moment you even regardless if he works, if both of y'all trying to train your damage to make it, and he works at Burger King and you work at McDonald's, or you're not working at all because you're trying to hold down the household.
I mean, it's a lot, you know, for you to assume not just a financial burden, but the children have to be. The children have to be respectful and things of that nature.
That's a whole other thing. Sometimes women, I think, don't realize that when you do have kids coming into a relationship, that is baggage.
Yeah,
that's baggage. If relationships were a point system, kids are a strike against you. I don't give a shit what nobody says. My wife had 3 kids when we hooked up. And she knew that I had to be comfortable with her having kids. Now, fortunately, she didn't need me to take care of the kids. The kids were already okay, but that's the only reason why a single man with no kids was able to come into a situation where there were 3 kids and feel comfortable with that. If you need me, then I just went from taking care of myself to
a full family, Brady Bunch.
The weight of this whole family is on me. That's too much for one man to bear. You can't expect that to happen. You have to be bringing something to the table yourself. Otherwise, it's not realistic.
I've been in that situation, and it drives you crazy because what ultimately happens is you become the enemy of the mama. You know,
enemy of the house. I'm about to say enemy of the house.
Don't do that. I mean, here you up here trying to help out this household, you buying food and stuff, and then the kids come and they dog what you doing, and you like, I don't owe these people nothing. You know, I owe these kids nothing. You buy food, and you think that I get off work, I got this left. I'm about to go to the refrigerator. I'm about to go eat this chicken wing. I'm thinking about it all now. And you out there watching this kid, watching BET. What's up, nigga? Hey, you goddamn chicken wing.
Right, you raising little gangsters and want me to step in and say, hey, I'm your new dad.
Want me to be the police chief.
And you come in and you a lame up. Don't talk to him like that.
Don't let them discipline their kids either.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that's one thing I can honestly speak on, just because you never would have told me when I was single that I would get into a relationship with a woman that had kids, especially multiple kids. But that situation just showed me that it can be done. If I did that, then somebody else can do that. Because that was just not me at all. But she had her stuff together where it was like, you know what? I'm not even worried about that. That's the least of my concerns. You know, and plus our relationship, the fact that we are best friends. And that we are cool like that. We can talk. If there's something on my mind, I can say it without it being
you hate my
World War.
Go sleep on the couch.
Exactly. And that's a huge problem. Sometimes you want somebody to be there and be stepfather and all of that, but he can't discipline the kid.